This will be in the biggest and most competitive international basketball tournament in history of the sport.
I believe we will win, but we are not a lock.
I mean, the U.S. just waltzing its way to a gold medal, those days are over.
The hype around men's basketball for the 2024 Paris Olympics has reached an all-time high. We're getting the privilege of watching France's Victor Wembanyama make his Olympic debut after capping off a historic Rookie of the Year season. We're also getting Canada's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Greece's Giannis Antetokounmpo making their first appearances on the biggest stage in international competition, and they'll be clashing on day 1 of the Olympics. On day 2, we're getting the NBA's most valuable player in a David versus Goliath type matchup. The Joker is facing the juggernaut that is Team USA in his return to the Olympics. 8 years ago, Jokic was coming off his rookie season in the NBA, jumping onto the biggest stage and capturing a silver medal for Serbia, averaging 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. I got a feeling he's gonna dummy those numbers this time around, and he'll be doing it against some familiar faces. Team USA is unquestionably the alpha in this tournament, the Avengers if you will, a team stacked with all-time greats in Curry and LeBron who've dreamed of teaming up, former MVPs like Durant and Embiid, 3 of this year's NBA champions from the Boston Celtics, and some of the best rising stars the league has to offer with the likes of Booker, Ant-Man, Bam, and Halliburton. Jokic is gonna have to put up some type of quadruple, triple, double to have a chance of beating what is arguably the greatest ensemble of talent Olympic basketball has ever seen.
There was an idea
to bring together a group of remarkable people.
To see if we could become something more.
So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
The NBA is the best basketball league in the world. It's indisputable, so we'll use it as our baseline to measure the depth of Olympic talent from every country. Canada is flexing 10 current NBA players on their roster, ahead of Australia by 2 for the most in Group A, with guys like SGA, Dillon Brooks, Jamal Murray, and RJ Barrett. In fact, it's the first time in Olympic history that a country outside of the United States has had 10 NBA players on their roster. If anybody's gonna give the US a run for their money, it's gonna be Canada. But the other country that could pull off the upset would be France, sitting at the top of Group B with 6 NBA players, consisting of defensive behemoths like Wembanyama, Gobert, and Nick Batum. And the leader in Group C isn't much of a surprise. The USA's entire roster consists of NBA players. Serbia is behind them with 5, while Puerto Rico and South Sudan combine for just 4. In total, the 2024 Olympics feature 54 NBA players. It may not seem like much, but it's actually the most talent we've ever seen on this stage. The 1992 Olympics were the first games where FIBA allowed NBA players to participate. At the time, just 7% of the league was made up of international players. So allowing professionals to play gave the United States, and only the United States, a massive advantage. The US rolled out the Dream Team, and the result was pure dominance on their way to a gold medal. Those games in Barcelona consisted of 16 current NBA players, in which 12 of them were American. By the 1996 Olympics, it was up to 17, and by 2000, it was back down to 15. But in 2004, we began to see a surge in talent. The 04 games in Athens showcased 21 players, and it's been on a constant uptick since, leading into this year where we'll have 54 athletes repping the NBA at the Olympics. It is without a doubt the most talented pool of players we've ever seen. The numbers prove it, but to determine if these are the most stacked Olympics ever, we'd have to measure player accolades as well. I decided to keep it simple and stick to the basic individual awards. All-Star appearances, All-NBA selections, All-Defense selections, MVPs, and Defensive Players of the Year. I contemplated adding championships, but a title is a team accomplishment, and we're trying to measure player talent, so I decided to leave it out. In 1992, we had 16 NBA players. 12 of them were American, and they were the only ones with accolades, combining for 68 All-Stars, 61 All-NBA appearances, 20 All-Defense selections, 9 MVPs shared equally among Magic, Bird, and Jordan, alongside 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, courtesy of David Robinson and MJ. 1996 was more the same. All-Star appearances, All-NBA, and All-Defense selections jumped up to 69, 65, and 28 respectively, topping it off with 3 Most Valuable Players and 4 Defensive Player of the Years from Olajuwon, The Glove, and David Robinson. The 92 and 96 Olympics were simply loaded with decorated NBA talent. The 2000 and 2004 Olympics were the complete opposite. In 2000, we saw a low of 15 total NBA players, and they combined for just 67 total accolades. And it got even worse in 2004. Allen Iverson, Tim Duncan, Stephon Marbury, and Yao Ming were the only NBA players in these Olympics who had accolades, combining for an all-time low of 41. But in 2008, we saw a massive resurgence in talent. The USA sent out the Redeem Team, led by LeBron and Kobe. Germany had their MVP in Dirk. China had Yao, and Argentina had Manu Ginobili, combining for a total of 54 All-Star appearances, 44 All-NBA, and 27 All-Defense selections, and 2 MVPs. In 2012, it remained relatively the same with 133 accolades, but through 2016 and 2021, we saw a major drop in talent, with total accolades of just 92 and 86. It's been a bit of a roller coaster since 1992 in terms of accomplished NBA talent in the games, and it's a trend that I like to call the USA Olympic paradigm. When NBA players got the green light to play in the 1992 Olympics, they entered the honeymoon phase. This is when American superstars become overjoyed with the idea of creating a super team with the best players in the NBA, joining forces and annihilating other countries en route to a gold medal. The honeymoon phase lasts for just 2 Olympics, in this case 1992 and 1996, with the biggest names showing out: Jordan, Magic, Larry, Chuck, Pippen, Malone, and Robinson. The thought of winning a gold medal is fun, and then it seemingly gets boring. Superstars are no longer dying to compete in the games. They rather spend their off-season away from basketball, or maybe it's just too easy. So we now go through the painful phase. The faces of the league opt out of Team USA, like Shaq and Kobe during the 2004 Olympics. The country struggles and the results are disappointing. The thought then becomes, we need redemption, and the honeymoon phase resets. All the top stars come together to save their country with a loaded roster, a la the 2008 Redeem Team. The superstars show up for the following games, and then it gets boring again. 2 mediocre Olympic rosters follow, there's a tough loss in international competition, and it reignites the honeymoon phase, which now brings us to 2024. Every American wants to play and redeem their country for the embarrassing loss at last year's FIBA World Cup. Since the Americans carry the most accolades, this USA Olympic paradigm is crystal clear when you look at the total of player accomplishments from every Olympic. And now the 2-year cycle is repeating itself at the 2024 Paris Games. With a record 54 NBA players and the top Americans at these Olympics, they'll combine for an all-time high 103 All-Star appearances, 76 All-NBA selections, and 41 All-Defense selections, thanks to guys like LeBron, Curry, Durant, and AD. There's going to be a record 13 total MVP trophies, 3 of them belonging to Jokic, 2 of them to Giannis and Curry, LeBron with a high of 4, and 1 for Durant and Embiid, alongside 5 Defensive Player of the Year awards. Giannis has 1, and Rudy Gobert carries this category with 4. There is no question that these are the most stacked Olympics the sport has ever witnessed. Not only do we have a record amount of NBA players, but we also have the most decorated athletes of our time competing in a basketball tournament that may only come once in a lifetime. Because the stars have aligned themselves to get the perfect blend of the older generation, the current generation, and the next generation of superstars all fighting on the same court to become world champions. It's gonna be a movie. Personally, I got the USA winning the gold medal. The time has come once again where they gotta send out the best of the best to redeem themselves. And they are loaded. But if I had to predict an upset, I'm going with the second deepest roster with SGA in Canada. Who's your pick to upset the US? Let me know down in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one.